You don't always need complicated software to edit your videos. You can absolutely edit an entire YouTube video with a simple tool like Canva even if you have never edited before. So let me show you the exact workflow I follow. So let's dive right in. And before getting into the step-by-step process, let me tell you, throughout this tutorial, I'll be using my previous video projects to demonstrate the different tools and features. That way, you won't just learn where everything is, but you'll also see how I actually use it while editing real YouTube videos. Now let's start the first step. For this tutorial, I'll be mainly using Canva 2.0. But if you're using the classic editor, don't worry, because both editors work almost the same way and you can edit a complete YouTube video in any of these. The biggest difference in these two editors is the timeline. The classic editor uses a page-based timeline, while Canva 2.0 uses a track-based timeline. And by the way, I'll also point out any important differences along the way. Now let's start by creating a video project. Just click Create, choose Horizontal Video, and give your project a name. Now that our project is open, let me quickly show you around the workspace. Right here is the preview window where you can watch your video as you edit. Over here on the left is your creative toolbox. This is where you will find uploads, elements, text, apps, and everything else you will use throughout your video. And down here, this is the timeline. Just think of it as the place where your entire video comes together. Your voiceover, visuals, text, music, everything eventually ends up here. You can zoom in and out of the timeline whenever you need more precision like this. You just need to use your touchpad and simply pinch in and out. Or you can also use the zoom slider down here. Just make sure you have selected the page or timeline first. While editing, if your timeline gets longer, then you can drag this slider left and right to quickly navigate through your project. And after adding multiple visuals and layers, you need a larger timeline to work with. In that case, you can simply drag this divider up or down to resize it. Now don't worry about memorizing every single button right now, because you will learn everything naturally as we build this project together. Before we start editing, let's make sure our main footage and audio are ready. So if you're creating a faceless video, that usually means your voiceover and any screen recordings you have already made. And if you're editing a talking head video, it's the video you have recorded with your camera along with its audio. Now Canva does let you record directly inside the editor using Record Yourself. You can record your screen, your camera, your microphone, or even all three at the same time. But at the time I'm recording this feature is not accessible to Indians. But even if you do have access to it and you're super excited to record everything directly inside Canva, let me stop you right there. Because every recording you make gets saved to your uploads library. It works perfectly fine for short recordings though, but for full-length, long-form YouTube videos, I skip it even if I'm a Canva Pro subscriber with plenty of storage space. Instead, I highly recommend recording your voiceovers and videos outside Canva. Now personally, I use Camtasia because that's what I already edit with alongside Canva. But Audacity is another great free option if you're recording only audio. So basically, any recording or video editing app that lets you connect your own camera and microphone will work just fine. And once you have finished recording, just clean up your voiceover or video first. Remove mistakes, retakes, long pauses, or anything you don't want your audience to hear. Remember, we are doing this outside Canva, and I'll explain you why we are doing this later in this video. And if you're recording a video using your phone or camera, then you can also do some basic color correction at this stage using your phone's built-in editing tools if you want. And if you're working on a longer project, just don't export everything as one huge file. Just break your voiceover and video clips into 2 or 3 smaller parts and then export it. Here is why. Canva has upload limits for different types of media. And from my own experience, I've had no problems uploading audio files under 10 minutes. As you can see, I have uploaded many audio files in multiple parts. And that's exactly how I edit most of my longer videos. And the same logic applies to video clips as well. The maximum length you can upload depends on the file size and resolution. For example, a 4K video file is usually much larger than a 1080p video of the same length. So from my experience again, keeping each video clip under 10 or maximum 8 minutes generally works fine. And for more information about this, you can also check Canva's Help Center for the latest file requirements. And now it's time to bring everything into Canva. You can upload your files directly from Canva's home screen by clicking Uploads File and selecting them manually. But once you're inside a project, you get even more options to organize your media. And that's exactly why we created a project in the first step itself. So if you have already collected media files, music, or sound effects for your video, just go ahead and upload them to the Uploads panel. And if all you have is a main footage or voiceover, that's perfectly fine too, because you can easily create your visuals or add them using Canva's built-in library while editing your project. And now that our files are inside Canva, let's set up the timeline. So if you're creating a faceless video, just open Uploads panel, place the playhead where you want your narration to begin, and then click your voiceover to add it to the timeline. Now at this point, you'll notice something strange. After adding your narration, you won't be able to see the entire audio, and you won't be able to move the audio beyond the visible page either. That's because Canva only displays the portion of your audio that's covered by pages or timeline. And until we create a page that matches the duration of your audio, the rest of the audio stays hidden. So let's fix that. Now here I'm adding a blank page and choosing the background color I want throughout my video. And then I just need to drag the end of this page until it reaches the end of my narration. And as you can see, as I keep extending the page, the rest of the audio starts to appear. And now I can see the entire audio, which makes editing much easier. And if you're editing a video clip, then your main video clip already determines the page duration. So you usually won't need to create a blank page first. So before we continue, remember we already cleaned up our voiceover and video clip before importing them into Canva. But if your recording still has background noise like this, then Canva's enhanced voice feature can do a surprisingly good job of cleaning it up. Just simply select your audio clip, click Enhance Voice and compare the result yourself. Let me tell you, I have used this feature in many of my own videos to remove entire background noise. And honestly, it does a pretty good job. And it's one of my favorite Canva Pro features. It's not perfect though. Like sometimes you might also hear a tiny glitch around a word or two. That's it. It's not a big deal because you can easily fix it. Let's say if that happens, just re-record those few words instead of entire voiceover. And at this point, you can also use that built-in Canva's record yourself feature. So the timeline is ready. Now let's build the rough cut. What's that? A rough cut is simply the first complete version of your video. It's not polished, it's not perfect, but this is where you build the structure of your video. And everything else, including your visuals, comes later. Right now, your only goal is to get the flow right. So if you're creating a faceless video, your voiceover becomes the backbone of the entire edit. It decides what appears on screen, when it appears, and when it's time to move on to the next idea. And here is exactly how to do that. I just need to play the main audio or video clip. And I can play or pause it anytime by just pressing spacebar. And wherever I feel like I need a new scene, a new visual, or simply feel like one section has ended, then I just stop the playhead at that exact point. So if you're editing a faceless video like this, just make sure the blank page is selected, not the audio. And then press S on your keyboard. And this adds a split exactly where your playhead is. And that simply means you don't need to split the audio separately. Just keep splitting the blank page as you go, and the audio automatically syncs with your video. But if you're editing a video clip, then just keep the playhead where you want the split and then press S. And this splits the video clip at that exact point. And if you need to adjust the length of a page or clip later, then you can simply drag its handles and move these pages or clips to match your audio. Now this creates one section for every idea in my narration. Just think of these sections as placeholders. They are empty for now, but later we'll fill them with visuals and text. Now that you have divided your narration into sections, just zoom out and look at the whole timeline. Because this is the right time to check and adjust the pacing. Does everything flow naturally, or does something feel too fast or too slow? And here is what I usually do. If something feels too fast or a sentence doesn't have enough room to breathe, I simply add a small or even a longer intentional pause between two lines or sections. And if something feels too slow, I'll slightly increase the playback speed itself. And sometimes I'll even move an entire section earlier or later until everything flows naturally. Now you should also experiment what works and what doesn't with your own videos, because every video is different. And don't worry about getting it perfect the first time itself, because that's the best part of editing. You can always change your mind later before exporting the video. And if you're editing video clips, the process is going to be exactly the same. Just split your clips, adjust the pacing, rearrange sections if needed, and leave small gaps whenever they make the conversation feel more natural. And if a gap appears on screen, don't worry, because you can easily cover it later with B-rolls. And by the end of this step, you should have a complete first draft of your video. It won't look exciting yet, and that's perfectly normal, because now you know exactly what visuals you need for a specific section, which makes the next step much faster. And now comes the most time-consuming part of editing: finding or creating the right visuals. And if you're creating a faceless video, then almost every sentence needs something to show on screen. But the good news is, Canva lets you find, create, and manage your visuals without constantly switching between different apps or websites. And that's the main reason I chose Canva for this tutorial too. It just makes your editing workflow much easier and faster. Since we have already finished our rough cut, we know exactly where every visual belongs. So instead of collecting random assets, you'll now only be searching for visuals your video actually needs. And one thing I also like to do at this point is keep my script open beside Canva. That way I can quickly match each line with the right visual without replaying the narration over and over again. And if you don't write full scripts, then you can even have your video transcripts too, because our main goal is to save time and speed up the workflow. Now let's start finding visuals. Canva's Elements library gives you access to things like photos, videos, graphics, icons, frames, mockups, and much more. So whenever you need a visual for your video, just type your keyword in the search bar. Try to be as specific as possible. The more specific your keywords are, the better your search results will be. For example, instead of simply searching for a person working on a computer, just try something like a woman typing on a laptop, or a young woman typing on a laptop, or Indian woman typing on a laptop, or even young Indian woman typing on a laptop. Do you notice how each search becomes more specific? This way, the results becomes more relevant too. And if you still can't find the right visual, try different keywords. Sometimes the perfect visual is just one search away. And each Canva search gives you different types of results, including photos, videos, graphics, and icons. Just choose the one that explains your idea best. Now, what if Canva's stock library doesn't have exactly what you're looking for? That's where Canva AI comes in. Just simply describe the image you want, and Canva AI will generate it right inside the editor. That's it. And if Canva still doesn't have what you need, which exactly doesn't happen usually, but you can always create images or even video clips using other AI tools outside Canva and then import them into Canva. Simple. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where your visuals come from. What actually matters is this. Every single visual should help your audience understand your message. So don't add a visual just because it looks nice. So, what should you exactly do after finding each visual? Here is what I usually do. As I find each visual, I add it straight to the timeline. Because I have been editing this way for a long time because it helps me see the video come together and whether each visual actually matches the narration. There are actually two ways to add an image or video to your project. You can simply click it and Canva adds it as the page background. Or you can drag it onto the page and it becomes a separate element. So what's the big deal? When you add an image or video clip as a freely moving element, you get much more controls, like you can resize it, round the corners, add borders, place it inside mockups, and you can also animate them easily using match and move transitions, which you can't do when you add your media as a full page background. And Canva also lets you organize your media as you work. Inside uploads, you can create folders and even subfolders for things like screen recordings, images, videos, and graphics. And to move any media to a specific folder, just click the three dots, choose Move, and save your media to the folder you want. It just makes everything much easier to find, especially in larger projects. But one thing you must remember. At the moment, Canva doesn't let you organize your imported media, its built-in music and sound effects into folders. Yes, I don't know why, but that's how it works for now. And hopefully, they'll consider adding that in a future update. Now that our visuals are in place, let's make our message even clearer with text. Adding text in Canva is easy. Simply press T on your keyboard or open the text panel and choose a style. Once your text is on the canvas, you can change the font, size, color, alignment, spacing, and much more. And if you want to style your text even further, just select it, click Effects, and choose the effect you want. Canva will apply it instantly. And before you start adding text randomly, just ask yourself one simple question. Does it help the viewer understand something, or it's just filling the empty space? Because the main purpose of adding text to your video is not decoration. It should be there to make your ideas easier to understand. So while adding text, just make sure it's clear and readable. And you can do it by just choosing simple fonts, colors with good contrast, and by keeping your fonts, colors, and text styles consistent throughout the project. Now that my visuals are on the timeline, how do I control when each visual appears on screen and how long it stays there? So let me tell you, in Canva 2.0, you can do this directly on the timeline. Just simply select any image, graphic, screenshot, video, or text element, and it will be highlighted on the timeline. Now just drag the beginning or end of the element to decide when it appears and when it disappears. And while adjusting your element's timing, you can use spacebar to play and pause your video until the visual lines up perfectly with your narration. And here is a pro tip. If you want several elements to appear together on screen, like bullet points, an icon with its text, or a group of graphics, just select them all first and then drag them together on the timeline like this. This saves a lot of time because you don't have to adjust each one individually. And if you're using the classic editor, then you will find a similar feature called show timing. It works a little differently, but it does exactly the same job. All you need to do is just select the element and right click to access show timing feature, and then you can drag and adjust the timing of your elements easily. Simple. And by the end of the step, every visual should appear exactly when you want it to. Now let's make those visuals look even better. And to edit any image or video clip, just select it, then click Edit. So depending on what you have selected, you will find the editing options for your media. Now let me quickly walk you through the image editing options in Canva. You can remove backgrounds, erase unwanted objects, grab objects from photos, expand images, blur them, improve their quality, and also generate small video clips out of any image. So it can turn almost any still image into a 5-second video clip except premium stock images from Canva's library. Like if you have used any premium stock images from Canva's library in your video, then it won't be able to convert that into a video clip. That's the only exception. But you can use any type of images including your own photos, screenshots, free stock images or AI generated images. And your video clips are not limited to basic editing either. Just like images, you can add borders, rounded corners, frames, filters and other effects. And here is a pro tip for you. If you have several visuals that need the same styling, then you can place them all on one page. Select them together and apply the same effect. Or style one element, right-click, choose copy style and paste it to the other element. And Canva will automatically apply the same styling to the next element too. But remember when I asked you to do some basic color corrections to your video clips right after recording outside Canva? That's because you will get better results using your phone's editor or a dedicated video editor, where you have much more control compared to Canva. Just remember this, Canva is built for creators, not movie studios. So if you still want to make some basic color adjustment to your clips inside Canva, you can absolutely do it. Just select your video clip, open Edit, and use the adjustment tools available right here. And you can also apply different types of filters to your video clips from here. Now it's time to add some movement. To animate any element, simply select it and click Animate. Almost everything in Canva can be animated, including text, images, graphics, icons, videos, and even grouped elements. So depending on what exactly you have selected, you will see different animation options. You can apply most of them with a single click. Some animations also let you adjust the speed, direction, or timing if you're a pro subscriber. But let me tell you, animations helps guide your viewers' attention, makes your video feel more engaging and adds a little personality to your edits. But use it with purpose, because not every element needs to fly, bounce or spin onto the screen. So before adding any animation, just ask yourself one simple question. Does it help guide the viewer's attention, or it's just there because it looks cool? And then you will instantly know what to do next. Now Canva also gives you an option to create custom animations. But this is just a simple tool which lets you draw a custom motion path yourself. But personally, I don't use it because I find the controls a bit limited compared to other dedicated video editing software that lets you create advanced animations and motion graphics. But if you want, you can experiment with it and create simple movements for your videos. And if you're using page animations, just choose them early in your editing process. Why? Because page animations can sometimes override animations you have already applied to individual elements. I'm telling you because I have been through this so many times. Trust me, it just feels frustrating when one click wipes out all the animations you have spent so much time creating. And that's the reason I don't use page animations except these two when I want to animate only images or video clips. But there's one more type of animation I really like using. When you select an image or video clip that's freely moving instead of a full page background, Canva unlocks a whole set of object animations. You can apply almost any of them in just a click. And you can also choose whether they play on enter, exit or both. I usually use this as pattern interrupts or smooth transitions. And by the way, Canva also lets you add transitions between two pages or scenes. They are a great way to make your edits feel smoother, but don't use them everywhere. Especially if you are editing a video with voiceovers. Because when you apply transition between these kind of clips, one clip starts immediately after another, and a transition can overlap the audio or completely cut off the beginning of your next clip. And this is not just a Canva thing. You will notice the same behavior in almost any video editor. So if your video clips don't have enough breathing room, it's usually better to stick with a simple cut. However, if there is natural pause between two clips or you are transitioning to a completely new section, then a transition can work really well. And now let's add some music and sound effects, because they make your videos feel more polished, engaging, and help emphasize important moments. And to add music or sound effect to your Canva videos, just open Elements panel and search for what you need. For example, it could be cinematic music, upbeat music, whoosh, click, or pop, or any sound effect. And you can also preview any track before adding directly to your project. Just make sure to keep your playhead at the exact position you want to insert your music track. But make sure your main narration is clearly audible and louder than your music track. And Canva also includes fade in and fade out controls. Instead of having your music start or stop abruptly, a short fade makes the transition feel much smoother and professional. But before adding any audio or soundtrack, just ask yourself one simple question. Does it support my message, or it just adding noise? Because adding music is completely optional. It's not mandatory for all types of videos. Now we are almost done, but before you export your project, just watch your video one last time. And if possible, don't watch it immediately. Just watch it after a few hours or the next day. And make sure you watch it like a viewer. And ask yourself, if I were watching this for the first time, would anything confuse or distract me? And once everything looks good, just click Share, then Export, and then select MP4 under File Type. And if you're a Canva Pro user, then you can choose higher export quality. And if you're a free user, just make sure you haven't used any Pro elements in your video project. And you can easily identify Pro elements because they are marked with a small crown icon. And if you're like, okay, I don't know anything and all these Pro elements accidentally ended up in my project, now all I could do is export my project as fast as possible. Then let me tell you, Canva is watching you and it won't let you escape just like that. And once your video is exported, don't upload it immediately. Just watch the exported file from start to finish. Why? Because sometimes you'll notice things outside the editor that you completely missed while editing. So even if something goes wrong, you can absolutely fix it and export again. It's just part of the editing process. That's it. So you have just edited and exported your first video in Canva. Remember, the more videos you make, the faster and more confident you will become. And I'll see you in the next video.